Matt from Caustic.
I have no idea what this podcast is going to be called. Hopefully, we'll throw a name in there. Musician's Bunyan. I don't know. As opposed to Musician's Onion. Onion. Yeah. Whatever. Actually, Musician's Onion's not too bad. I might use that.
I had a podcast. I wanted to call it Ugly Children. And it was all going to be about, I wanted everybody, like every artist on there, to talk about the song they hate of theirs the most.
Nice. I like it. That's a good one.
But I was like afraid that everybody would be like, then I'd have to admit I didn't do a good song. And I'd be like, I'll check a bunch off my list for both of us.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's
your worst song. Don't worry about that.
Well, that's it. That's a good one, that, because I mean, let's be honest, right? You write stuff, and you might think it's terrible. Other people think it's amazing, and the other way around as well. I always find that something I've written that took me 5 minutes is loved by everyone, and something that took me forever is just ignored by people.
my favorite Caustic song, I wrote it in like an hour, and including all of the lyrics, which are some of the best lyrics I've ever written, and nobody cares about it. And it is like the most efficient song I've ever written. It's like there's like three drums, one synth, couple arpeggios in there, and that's like it. Yeah. And I was just all and it just turned out brilliantly. It's like the lyrics are so like clever, but in a good way, like not like annoying. But nobody's ever just gotten it, which is funny because I actually said that song was versus DaddyBear because it was on The Man Who Couldn't Stop. And it was because I was trying to just secure having that name somewhere on like Discogs. So in case anybody took, and this was years before DaddyBear started.
Yeah.
And DaddyBear sounds nothing like I don't know what DaddyBear would have contributed to that song in the present form of DaddyBear, but I was just trying to I hadn't nailed the sound yet, but I had an idea for the name forever. And
yeah. Well, that's one thing. I mean, what started you actually wanting to make music? Because that's the thing, really, isn't it? It's like it's very easy to get into music, but not that many people actually want to write it and turn it into something.
I mean, I always wanted to, but I was an art kid growing up because I drew nonstop all the time. So I was the art kid in my class, and then I got super burned out on that. And now, then I moved over to like film, and I was writing like screenplays and stuff, just on my own and doing film stuff. And I kind of have plus the University of Wisconsin-Madison equivalent of a film degree, which is a communication arts degree. But then after that, I just started performing improv. So I kind of just moved from one thing to the other. And then finally, I finally, the software was cheap enough. I had Rebirth for a while that I think it was a cracked copy that somebody gave me. So I had used Rebirth a little bit. And this was probably 2000. Trying to think, I could use it. It was the first apartment my wife and I were in. So it was like 2000, 2001. But then I got a cracked copy of Fruity Loops FL Studio, whatever, like 7, 8, 9. So it was far enough into it that it wasn't absolutely Fisher Price my first DAW. Yeah. But for me, I mean, I had some experience in band a little bit when I was a kid, but I'm not a musician. Everything I've learned, I've either been taught by somebody who just said, hey, here's a root note. Just work around that. Not even like, this is a key change. More like, just make sure it sounds good. But then I saw Manufactura and Months from Sepsis in Milwaukee. So man, I'm more from here. And seeing Manufactura it was on his tour for his first album, it just blew me out of the water. And then I'm like, I have to do this. If he can do that, and it was never like I can do better than that. It was just like okay. And then I just started my racket, and we knew each other then. That was
we did,
20 years ago. That was 20 years ago.
20 years ago, more. Yeah. Just, don't, man.
Because you did a remix. You did the remix on my first album.
I did, yeah.
You, Phenotype, and Memetic.
Yeah.
And but I'd always wanted to. I just never didn't have, I don't know, I can't really sing, and I can't play anything really well. I took, cello for like almost a full year of school.
God,
and I
never knew that.
And they didn't offer it. So that was like, fourth grade.
Oh, right. Okay. What about then? Okay.
It was a while ago. But I've always, I've got a lot of instruments at home, so I'm trying to I actually played something on my new album, played a couple things on my new album, but it was, not at a, we'll just say I'm not a maestro. I'm not a professional melodica player or a washboard player.
Washboard. Amazing.
Yeah, right here.
Oh my God, that's great.
I
love it.
Yeah. On a cheap little washboard.
Oh, fantastic.
But it was funny because I actually had a friend of mine who was in a band. He plays washboard in like a band, like an Americana type thing.
Good God.
And I just asked him, and then it took too long for me to get my stuff together.
Yeah.
So.
Sorry, just had to put this on Do Not Disturb. It was bleating away at me in the background.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
I don't get any bleats, but just the same. But yeah, that's how I got into it. How about you?
Oh God, me. Right.
My journey is dumb and paved with happy accidents. So
my journey is, I guess, in a way, it's a bit more deliberate, really. When I started as a kid, I was a writer as well. I was just like constantly writing stories. I wasn't really into drawing, but I was really into writing stories and all that kind of thing. But when I actually got into music, I was about 15, I think, and a mate of mine went, "Come on, we're going to be in a rock band," and I was like, "Are we? We're going to be in a what?" And so, like he said, yeah, come here, learn the guitar. I was like, "What's this?" And we kind of pretended to be in a band while I learned guitar because he couldn't play. Well, he was a drummer, so he could basically play stuff. And what happened then is I thought, oh, well, we need to write some songs, and I couldn't do it on the guitar, so I got an old tracker on the Amiga, like one of the early trackers, and started working on that. And then through that, some of my other mates also started playing with trackers, and started doing stuff on the computer. And then I really got into actually playing. And went to the whole music college thing, all the rest of it, and
did you really?
Yeah.
I know so much of your history from the last 20 years just from knowing you, but I didn't know that.
Well, that's it. This is all pre that. Yeah, I was officially a musician. And so I played lots of stuff for years. Primarily a bass player. No surprise there, but it was kind of a job for a little bit. But I always wanted to write rather than just play. So I just kept at it, kept changing doors because I originally started in 1995. On Cubase before it had any audio in it, So it's like in the college studio, they had one of those old tiny Macs, the ones like that.
Sure, yeah.
And running Cubase with just MIDI attached to it, and obviously everything was recorded on like an old ADAT, I think it was at the time. So everything was all like MIDI through old 90s romplers and a couple of one, I think there was one analog synth. Yeah, one, So I was like, I want to get good at this. And of course, as soon as VSTs arrived, I was like, oh my God, I could just do this in my computer. This is amazing.
I know, the bass gets thrown away.
To be honest, it was weird actually. For a couple of years, I didn't play it. It's got to be said, for a couple of years, I did not bother playing my bass. And instead I was just doing that. So I got skill atrophy on my bass because of that. But there you go.
That's okay. Yeah. I think I fully understand that. I couldn't, if I start drawing a picture, my wife's like, how come you don't draw more? I'm like, this is the only picture I can draw that I can just doodle over. This is my drawing in meetings picture. Like, hey, look at me. I drew Wolverine again. I've been drawing Wolverine since I was 8 years old. But what's crazy is like in Madison, I literally lived right behind Sonic Foundry. So that was, Vegas, Sound Forge, Acid, all those things, because that was a Madison company.
Huh. I did not know that.
It was hysterical because, like, literally Ned from Stromkern worked there. Kelly from Stromkern worked there. Huh. Our good friend Nate, who helped me get my first show going, because I bought an Akai sampler off Jason from God Module. Huh. And which I just happened to be on eBay, and it was his. And so which was great because he had like 3/4 of Dark City already sampled into that thing. It was hysterical. I was like, Jason, I love you. I'm so glad you did that. but it took 13 hours and going back to Windows 95 to hook it up to so I could use it on my Oxygenate, just triggering samples for my first show.
Yeah.
But it was very crazy to have that. I actually applied to work there, saying I could speak German, and it wasn't a lie because I took many years of German.
Wow.
But as soon as I sat down, they started speaking to me in German, and then my fight or flight kicked in, and let's say I didn't get the job. I'm not great with languages, despite 5 years of German cumulatively.
Oh no, I'm not particularly great at them either. So I'm with you on that one. So that sounds great. So your first show was on an Oxygen 8. Was it all?
I used an Oxygen 8, the Akai. Oh, I forget which Akai it was. It was heavy, and I sold it later to my pal Bob, who probably sold it to somebody else since. And I used a CD man to play my backing track.
Why not?
And the opening to my first set live was the Final Countdown, but I twisted it all over the place on the backing track. So it was very dumb. I chipped my tooth during that show too. Oh, on the mic.
Nasty.
With my big black shirt on. I've always pretty much been me the entire time.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing actually, because when you started out, you very much had a kind of comedy bent to what you do, which I think you kind of over time that's kind of gone a bit, and I understand that. I think I could be wrong here, but I suspect it might be because when you were starting out, you knew you could do comedy, and you were a bit kind of twitchy about this whole music thing, so you threw the comedy in. It was
the biggest crutch on earth. Yeah. I leaned on that one hard.
Yeah,
I got more attention for stupid titles than I did for the music, because the music was very basic. I mean, it was, but it had a good punky energy to it. If I listen to it now, I'm like, I didn't know what I was doing, but it's super fun.
Yeah.
It's just kind of chaos. So yeah, I totally leaned on that. And after a while, I don't think it's old, because I still do. I think when I play shows, I still do Lady Business. I think that's a great song. I don't like the original version of it, but I've rewritten it enough times for live shows that it sounds pretty good now. And I think that's a great song. That's a lot of fun. I love fun
I agree with that, yeah.
I mean, I don't perform most of the songs that I just don't think would be fun to do live. So that's a lot of my songs. But yeah, I still screw around, but it just kind of, I don't know. You also get called the Weird Al of industrial, which makes no sense. And I'm going to see Weird Al in 2 months with my kids and Sigrid and everybody. I love Weird Al, but it's that's not me, but okay. I'm okay, I'm more like the Dead Milkmen-y, Dead Kennedys kind of.
Yeah.
But not as good as them either. If I try to go some straight shots, if you're comparing, those are the closest I can get to. But I mean, I still do fun stuff and stupid stuff. I mean, during the pandemic, I put out the King of EBM album, where I think the first song was Fist the World. So I still do it,
Yeah.
I got to be in the mood.
Yes, yeah.
It's just also not as much of a challenge.
Yeah, and you've got more to say than that anyway. So, totally get that. In fact, I have actually, of course, heard some of your latest stuff, which is really good.
Yes.
I was talking to Eric recently, and he agrees that you've kind of leveled up as well, which is really nice. It's really good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of
good to hear.
I mean, the one thing that I really enjoy is that when you've got it, because there are times when it's kind of kind of bare bones on purpose, but everything's got its place and it works really well because of that, you know? I think it's one of those things where if you started adding more things on top, it would just ruin what you already had. So I think it's just, you know, because
there's some stuff that I've got layers and layers and layers of just, you know, samples and noises and creaking and like just trees falling in the background. And like literally I have that in one song. But I was just trying to get, even if it's like a subtle thing, to see if people's ears can pick up on it at all. But then I have some songs that are a lot more sparse. Yeah. And it's kind of fun to do both. Yeah. And it's challenging to make it an album, but at the same time, that's kind of how all my album. I mean, there's very few outside of that like King of EBM thing that are all one straight style where you're like, oh, okay, this and this, and that makes sense. Yeah, because I have like, you know, an industrial New Jack Swing track on this, and I have like a very underworldy track on it, and then I have some like super dubbier things with just like, you know, atmospherics, and listen to a lot of the Bug and JK Flesh type stuff. Yeah, but I just heard the final version of one of the other songs today, and I'm very happy. So it's nice. Only a couple to go. I have to meet with Brant Showers of Damon Solve. He lives close. He lives closer to me than Eric does, even because Eric's pretty close. But so I used my local crew to help put some things together, and some displaced local crew as well. And then I got Doug from Nevada Hardware on the track too, fixing a track for me because I just wanted to get his vibe on it. So yeah. But yeah, then I brought in like a lot of live musicians in comparison to my normal stuff. A lot of guys on bass. Yeah. And I think you caught the bass. You're like, yeah, I definitely did. Is that a live bass? I'm like, yeah, that's a guy who actually knows how to play bass. Yeah. And I'm like, he's like, I can follow this. I'm like, yeah, just throw in some accents. You already know, this way better than I do. I'm not about to give you like notes. Yeah. Like, have fun with it. That was Adam from Big Time Kill did that one. Then my friend Jeremy Jet Brando did stuff, and he's been my friend since middle school. So I brought in like people that I've known since I was a kid to work on this album with me, and been pretty neat. So cool. Yeah. No, the one thing I really like about like you said, you mentioned then about like, some stuff is sparse, some stuff is kind of like very dense. The one thing I enjoy about writing the two of those things is that they flex different muscles, don't they? Really, when you're writing them, they do flex different muscles. I think it's things like, I don't know if you worked with this stuff, but things like micro timing really makes a difference on some things. I find. I've never worked specifically with it, but I've read some things about it. And I just kind of throw things at the wall. I mean, I rarely go into like a melody in my head. I just start tinkering around, beeping and booping, and then I get some stuff. But yeah, I find the sparser stuff significantly more challenging because I want to make sure there's enough room there's enough space in there, but not so it's boring. Yeah. But then I listen to so much old, hip hop or electronic, which is so basic. Oh yeah, very much so. But that's where you give so much credit to the producer, because you're like, I know what that sounds like when it's not through whatever compressor, through whatever they put it through to give it that roundness and give it that shape, so it can take up good space without having to pile stuff in there. Yeah. So, but it's fun. Yeah, it's a challenge. And one track I very purposefully, because of the nature of the song, what it's about, I had to just like a bulldozer in a landfill, just shoving everything at the same time. So I don't know, I got a little more symbolic with some of the music, I guess. I'm at the point where I can do that and not be utterly embarrassed by myself. I probably won't point it out to people because they'll be like, "Really? That's where you're going for, huh?" Oh, you're very deep, Matt. You're a very deep. I'm not James Joyce here. I only did an album based on his most famous work. But hey, that's just me in industrial, and everybody else is doing that too, right? or they have better, or do they have more free time to do better things?
Oh man! So when you're writing a track, right? So you just sat down, you're about to write a track. Okay, do you have what's your kind of ratio of like, oh, I've had an idea, I'll go and put that down, and instead just sitting in front and trying to get something out? Do you think?
I usually the second.
Yeah.
I sometimes if I have lyrics, like sometimes you'll get just like a couple lines in your head, and you're like, okay, how do I, I need to wait for a song for this. And for quite a few of the songs on the new album, I had the idea of the song way before I had the music. Right. But I just, you could go so many different ways. And there's certain songs that I tried, a half a dozen times to come up with an idea to fit this title, these words, not even fully fleshed out. But I usually sit down and I'll just start programming drums.
Right. You usually start with the drums. Okay.
Say, what have I not used before that might inspire something? So it's usually the drums. It's the rhythm, the rhythm section. The bass and the drums are the two things I go to immediately. And sometimes bass these days, even before that, because I've been just more into like EBM-y, techno-y vibes. So you can, just, how can I write a very, simple but incredibly catchy bass line?
Yeah. Well, that's the one thing I was gonna bring up. Actually, the one thing I really like about your stuff is, as opposed to a lot of industrial these days, where it's kind of just gone chord sequence. Your stuff is always very kind of like riff based. It's always very kind of like detailed bass line kind of thing. It's just always, which is much more my kind of thing, which is kind of why I glue to it a lot more than a lot of other stuff.
I thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I've always worked within just like 4 measures, and then it's rare that I'll go out like, I'll have a file like, because Fruity Loops is just very, kind of just like any old sequencer, except just a computer version. I rarely going out like, 32 bars into something to write that full thing. I will have my 4 measures or 8 measures. I'm getting a little crazy. And then I just start doing variations within that. It's very much the underworldy electronic, 90s electronic, keep it simple, stupid, and then adding and subtracting. That's why Underworld's like one of my 5 favorite bands, especially electronic, is just the simplicity of it, produced so well, with so few elements really in there, but they know when to bring things in, take them out, and keep the ears engaged.
Yeah.
So they don't even do a lot of like, filtering and stuff like that typically. They're just, they just add in some really good drums that'll catch your ear. Then they'll add another little synth.
I know Underworld. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I think partially also out of fear of doing something that I will screw up, like going, okay, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this giant thing, and then I'm going to do this in some circadian rhythm that I don't know a lot of stuff. I am not a music theory guy. I've taught myself things over time just to understand basic things. I'm like, okay, what key is this in? These are the notes in that key, Matt. You can use those are your notes. I think I keep it simple, stupid, but that means I also go through tons of demos where it's like, this is terrible. Why did I even save this? Okay, it's a funnier title than it is the 8 seconds I thought I failed for some reason.
Yeah, oh God, yeah, tell me about it. The amount of kind of times where it's just like you write something, come back to it the next day and go, this is the worst thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
I'm really glad that was my heavy drinking nights where I'm like, I nailed it. The next morning was like, this is the most garbage. Did my ears fall off? So at least now that I'm sober, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's not, I know immediately, like when I have something good, if I have something that I'm like, I feel real, like I'll just listen to it. I'll, get all hyper fixated on it, and I'll listen to 45 seconds for an hour straight. And I'm like just digesting it and going, okay, I've got 45 seconds. I've got a song. No problem. But then it's like, what else do I do with it? What else do I want to add in? And if I can let my mind go into neutral, I'm just grabbing sounds. I'm going, no, that, yep, nope, okay, there you go. Get another little library. Okay, okay, you got it all popping in. And I love that when I'm just flowing,
Oh, God, yeah, it's such a good feeling.
It feels so good, right?
Yeah,
there's just very few feelings on earth when you're just like, an hour went by and you're like, I just built this beautiful thing.
Exactly. You're like, I made this. How did I make
weird.
this?
I still get that thrill every time. I'm never just like, I just wrote another song. I'm like, no, I shouldn't be this good at this now. Part of it's ripping on myself, but part of it's like, I don't know how I got here because 20 years goes by pretty quick,
Oh,
and
God, it does. It really does.
23, 24 years. So it's like, I've learned a lot. I can go back. I literally put out the first song I ever wrote, not for mad cash, but just to be like, hey, this is where I started. Look at your first song. Trust me, it's 1,000 times better than this pile of garbage because I didn't know anything. It's true. It's fine.
Yeah,
and actually, I sampled that song and put it into this new album. Like, there's all kinds of weird stuff I did, bringing back like my original, like some original sounds and samples and just fitting them elsewhere. It's I make it a game for myself, but I also make it too hard. I think you put yourself up the same way. Well, especially when it does because when it comes easy, you're kind of like, well, that can't be very good because it didn't take me long. So I'm just like, nailed it.
yeah. That's the thing is that like because I know what you mean because that first Slip Drive album I did back then when it was I wrote that in as many days as there were tracks. I would come home from work, write a track, next day write a track, and I was like,
nice,
this can't be real. There's something wrong with this. This can't be real.
This can't be. I feel like it's good, but how can it? It grew so fast.
This is impossible. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Have you ever had that thing as well where you write something, you think it's all right, but by the end of it, you've actually jettisoned all the bits that you'd written in the song you're writing?
I've probably done that. Yeah, I've killed my darlings a couple times in certain songs, but most of the time, the groove is what I have to hold on to the whole time. I've become very much, and this is up for discussion how groovy it is, but I'm very groove based. So I can switch it up in there and do the things to keep people's ears interested. But to me, it's the game of just not saying doing as little as possible because that makes it feel like it's being lazy. But I think there's that being economic with choices.
Yeah. And
that's DaddyBear a lot more. And I remember I was talking to somebody after I did a DaddyBear set last year at Cold Waves, and somebody's just like, who's known me a long time, was like, this is my favorite music of yours because it sounds so clean. Like, I can hear everything going on because I'm not using tons and tons of elements. I don't distort things nearly as much as I do in Caustic and still in there, but not nearly as, I don't know. It's just a different vibe.
Yeah.
But yeah, the economy of sound is very interesting to me. Because it's hard to get so few elements working.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's that going back to, it being sparse and getting it to work. It's really is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, all your pieces have got to be strong. You can't have a weak piece in there because it won't work. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be able to see it right away. It's like Statue of Liberty, but they haven't put all the other stuff on it yet. And you're like, well, this is not going to work because that's going to collapse. It fell down. It's like because you have to have nothing. It's like just like cooking. It's like you can take the most basic ingredients on earth and make the best meal on earth because you knew how to use them right and you got the right stuff.
Yeah.
But then if I make that meal, it's going to taste terrible, and I will apologize for the food poisoning. So it's So I really enjoy that because throwing too much in, I know how to do that too, and I'll do it occasionally, but that's a lot of the time I was used to do that just because I needed to. I'm like, what? Somebody's going to have to save this song.
Yeah, that's oh god, that's That used to be a really bad habit of mine. I know what you mean, where it's like, this isn't working, maybe if I put this on top. That isn't working, maybe if I put this on top as well. And you just end up with this massive cake just going like that, and it's just like, oh, God, why?
Well, it's a very thick waveform.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I won't need sausage fattener for this one. It's all, yeah. Dear.
But it's still a fun challenge. I mean, I'm looking forward to being done with these albums because it's taken so much of my time to get it all done. But I look forward to just writing for whatever now. I have to finish DaddyBear, but that's easy because that's like 3/4 done. I just had to put that at the side. I don't know. And you've got another thing coming out next month? This month?
Yeah. I mean, I've got one that's kind of out. It's not supposed to be out, but it is.
And what was that called again?
GFX. That was, yeah.
GFX. Thank you.
Yeah, and then it does.
I told you.
What's that? Sorry.
I said it's great.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, cheers. But I've got another one coming out. That's just going to be at the end of this month. Well, 23rd. Yeah. Basically, it's very nerdy. It's like GFX was very nerdy. This is very nerdy as well. It's like it's the 40th anniversary of the release of the Amiga, the Commodore Amiga.
Of course.
So it's what's the 40th? Sorry, and basically I've written an EP around that. Sort of. That's getting dropped. So it's like stuff that's either influenced by the sound of the Amiga or the vibe of it or stuff like that, because when I was a kid I played on the Amiga a lot, so some of those sounds are kind of in my head forever.
Oh yeah. They're like nostalgic beat boops.
Yeah. So it's kind of like it's around that, and there's a couple of covers of game tunes in there as well. Yeah, so like
well, that's fun. Yeah, I had this Commodore 64 was our second computer.
Right.
I think we had a TI or something like that, Texas Instruments.
Right.
Early on. I was like a little kid, so. Yeah.
Yeah. I started out with, because if it's the one I think it is, I started out with the British version of that and then moved on to the Commodore 64 and so on. So, yeah.
That's the Amiga. Yeah, then I don't think I had a computer until after the 64. I had a word processor, but then I used our computer labs in college, so I didn't even.
So you missed the 16-bit era completely then.
Yeah. I mean, I played my video. I had my Nintendo and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I played games, but I didn't have a computer. Not until I got a Macintosh Power Mac.
Huh.
It was a Power Mac for like my graduation, and then that's what I ended up with Rebirth on.
Yeah. So what? No, you go on.
I was going to say, and I didn't even have my own computer when I started Caustic. I was using Sigrid's graduation present computer. I was writing all my original stuff on my wife's desktop.
Oh man.
I've been ghetto industrial since the start.
Yeah, no kidding. That's great. I
mean, I haven't improved much because I have like a $350 refurbished computer that I bought when my 10-year-old, the only new computer I'd ever owned for this kind of stuff, I got like as a birthday present. And then after 10 years, it was shot, and I just bought this refurbished one because it's still better than a 10-year-old computer. But now this thing's starting to takes way too long to load a song. So I've always been keeping it real basic.
So did you, because obviously you started with FL Studio, did you ever actually see the original Fruity Loops? Because that was the thing, right? Go on, carry on.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think I saw a video, but I don't think I ever, like YouTube, remember this? And everybody's like, this is a joke. And I'm like, I see why it gets no respect.
Yeah. Because that's the thing for me.
So much different.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing for me, because I'd been used to using Cubase, obviously, and then moved to Logic. And, I downloaded Fruity Loops, the original, when it was still just called Fruity Loops. And it's like,
Yeah.
what's this supposed to be? What's this? Throw, go back to the other thing.
Yeah,
but recently,
by 6 or 7, I mean, I'm pretty sure I got 6 or 7. I think I got first. But I mean, it's such a good deal when it comes down to it, because I mean, if there's a new version, you get it for free.
Yeah.
Which is one of the best deals. I mean, I had a friend who would use who got me. He gave me my first cracked version was from him, and then he stopped making music. Then 15 years later, he was able to get in contact with them, and they gave him the new version. It was 18 or 19.
Yeah, God.
So it's money wise, for places that are trying to make you, pay to use their VSTs every year.
Yeah.
I'll be it's not perfect, but I'll stand for
well, actually,
FL Studio.
The one thing I was going to say really is because I'd found out the Flashbulb had done all this stuff in FL Studio, and he was talking about...
Oh, really?
Yeah. And he was talking about some of the stuff you could do with it, and I was like, really? So I downloaded a version recently, and I was looking into it, and it's like, I mean, if you've not used it before, there's a learning curve like that to do anything complicated with it, but it can really, really do it, because I mean, I use Bitwig these days, and that's you can do anything in the world with that, but I didn't know that FL Studio was like that as well if you actually go under the hood. And so it was really kind of that really eye-opening to find that this thing that when I first touched it was an absolute joke is now absolutely fantastic. It's just lovely to see, really.
Yeah, I mean, I remember hearing there's this VST doesn't work very well in Cubase or Logic or Ableton or whatever. I'm like, man, it works just fine in FL Studio. Yeah. I mean, it's such a basic concept, but like you said, once you get under the hood, I mean, there's basic things that I'm like, oh, I wish you could do this, and I'm like, oh, I literally just had to Google that. This is just how my brain works, or I just assume there's no way they have this very basic functionality that would make total sense for everybody. It's right there. Okay, then I checked that. Yeah. That was 3 seconds of my time for 5 years of wondering about it.
Yeah.
So I'd probably be a better musician if I knew everything I could do with the thing, but I kind of enjoy the fact that I don't, and then I get to get surprised by stuff, and then I go, oh, now I can do this thing that I've always wanted to do.
Well, the thing is, I mean, I guess a lot of it is you can end up with the paralysis of choice anyway, because I know I suffer from that a fair bit every so often, because, I mean, one of my biggest problems is that I do know a lot of music theory, and I do know lots of this stuff. So a lot of my time is spent, instead of thinking, oh, right, why don't I just do something with that, is always like, how do I break it? How do I go further than, I've done, people have done before? It's like there was, I know you played it on your radio show. There was a track on K where the whole thing was like just playing with tempo and just destroying tempo as a concept and just working with that. Yeah, just I think I know enough to know what the rules are, so I can easily break them by forgetting that they're the rules. Yeah, but so I don't like to be pretend like I'm just ignorant of it. I just also, with the ADHD, I can only stay interested in what I'm interested in. Yeah. So me taking 10 hours of music theory, I'm glad I have friends who understand what I'm saying, because I know what I'm talking about in very basic terms. I'm not going to even get into all the crazy, but somebody like Eric or you or Goddessman or anybody who I know has a great deal of music knowledge, I can convey my point. But at the same time, somebody would give me a compliment as to why they like my music, and I'll be, if they use any music terminology, I'm like, that's what I meant to do, that thing you said. I know exactly what you're referring to. Thing is, if they didn't use the terminology and they just described it to you, you'd go, oh, actually, yeah, that was what I meant to do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I like to do that because I think it sounds cool. Yeah. That's a very cool thing you did. That's very original. Oh, I just thought it sounded cool. So, but
that's the most important thing, though. That is the most important thing. I mean, God's sake, I've listened to far too many, just virtuoso jazz records that just sound like absolute shit. And then it's because it's just knowing that stuff doesn't help. You know, it's a weird thing, but you have to know enough to kind of just functionally work. And then after that, it's just, is this good or damaging? That's the question. Yeah, I think.
Well, yeah, and if you're going to follow all the rules, you can make fine music, but it doesn't make it interesting, which is, to your point. So, I mean, I don't listen to much in the industrial genre these days unless something really catches my ear, because I've listened to it for so long. Honestly, I have so much other music that I'd rather be listening to. Mostly older music. I'm not going to pretend like I'm totally hip on everything, but it's like, I'd just rather listen to this old punk album because it's catchy and the songs are good and everybody doesn't sound like 400 other bands that just came out like this. Yeah. So, I mean, it's sometimes I'm like, why do I still do this? And then sometimes I'm like, well, I still make stuff that I'm interested in. And
well, that's it, really. I think in some ways that can be an advantage, not being into the genre you're writing, because you'll try and make it interesting for yourself rather than going, well, that's cool because I heard it before. In fact, you're going to be going the opposite, really, I think.
Yeah.
So, I totally get that. Totally get that.
Well, and you also fall into all the things that are popular right now, but that's not going to get you very far because other people are working on the cool things are going to happen next. And those, I don't know if I'm ever that person, but at the same time, I can only do what interests me. And sometimes I have fun playing with more modern stuff. I did like an electro house track that Richard from Ubervite helped on that one, and it was fun to do. You know, it was just a good time. It worked with the theme. It was what I was trying to do, but I wasn't expecting it to be getting played, on dance floors anywhere. And I really kind of said to myself, this time around with these albums, I don't care about making bangers. I did make some because I naturally am very club oriented. I was a DJ first, and I love dance music. Yeah. But I had to get away from that for some of my new stuff because I'm like, this doesn't fit the poppy, easy pop structure, even the punk pop structure. So I'm like, I'm just going to let this song kind of build and develop and flow and like lava rolling down a hill, just where it goes, what it does. Yeah. And I'll have some vocals in there just because I keep it interesting. I'll have a lot of samples in there because I don't know, samples are my way of being honest without me having to say words sometimes. So it's like it's never like I just put a sample in because I thought it sounded neat. And that was the other thing I didn't want to do. Didn't want to just write songs that sounded like cool ideas for songs. Like, ooh, that's a cool chorus. That'd be a cool title. Like, okay, you have to have something behind it.
Yeah, it's got to be some meat in there.
It's not a challenge otherwise. I mean, I think that's the thing that for you too. You've got to challenge yourself. Yeah. Because especially when you know so much stuff. It's. I mean, I'm always learning new stuff, so I get continually excited that I didn't screw something up, and I'm like, oh, that sounds really cool. Okay, what did I do there? Ooh, look at me. Yeah. And then I'll send it to Eric, and he'll go, ooh, that sounds really cool, and I'll go, ooh, look at me. But it's I don't like repeating myself. So
yeah, I mean, I get where you're coming from there, because I mean, I'd rather fail doing what I want to do than succeed doing what other people want me to do. It's always, because the thing is that we know out there are a lot of artists who are just doing what everyone expects of them. And, you can feel their heart isn't in it. It is just, I made another one, push, and I don't see where the joy is in that. So, because the thing is, that's the thing, the act of creation is joy in a way. It's you're putting something of yourself into something, and you're hoping to see it reflected back in a beautiful way, even if beautiful meaning horrible, in a way you're expecting, So I don't understand perfunctory creation of just like, oh, I've just created another one. I don't get that at all. So I'm glad to hear you say that.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, to me, I mean, in a very woo kind of way, I consider like music a gift to the world, right? And to the listener, to that, and I don't mean that as in I am giving you these gifts of myself, but I think art and creativity and all of these things are such a gift that we are given to share with others. So yeah, even if it's a song that's like dismal and depressing and like rips your heart out, and there's nothing positive about it in terms of that, but you're still feeling this artist, you're still seeing yourself in this, and you're feeling something with this person who had to get this off their chest, and honestly, you get the people that, like you said, making this kind of perfunctory stuff, those are crappy gifts. Like, I mean, it's kind of like
it's the ashtray of the gift world.
Yeah, it's kind of like, oh, you really thought hard about this gift, because there's some bands that they put out very similar albums every time. And part of it is probably mostly because they make money. I don't make enough money to do this to care what other people think. I do care what other people think. I'm not like going, if everybody says this is the worst thing I've ever seen or heard in my life, I'll be happy about it or be like, well, I'm super cool with it. I am super cool with it. And I expect there to be criticisms. But I also know I challenged myself in a way that was incredibly difficult for me. Took a really long time because I wasn't going to just be like writing this, here's another fun dance track. Instead I write fun dance tracks but weird stuff in them, and they have like really depressing meanings sometimes amongst funky beats. But it's I don't understand. I mean, I have a song on the new album about it, just called I'll Throw a Mountain at You, which is just about like people with suck ideas who are not pushing themselves. And of course, with the major caveat, I write these songs about myself. So this is me, like that little thing, that little evil gnome on your shoulder, pushing you harder and giving you grief for, that sounds just like that thing. Oh, you went up with that. Oh, look, you did that same thing you did for your pad the last 400 songs, Matt, Yeah,
I know.
But it's to kick my own ass. So but if it kicks other people's asses, good, because I think for all my faults as an artist, I'm doing pretty well for myself. There's a lot of people that really need to step out of their idols' boxes. You don't need to sound like Nine Inch Nails. We already have one.
Yeah,
sound like B&B. We already have one. We have many Combi Christ. We have so many Boy Harshers, and it's just like, okay, well, we'll remember the main one,
Yeah, it's like the gold rush of like, that sounds like that. I'll do that, and then I'll get
exactly.
some.
And
it's just stupid. It's just, well, I think it's
and I
stupid
get caught up in it too. But it's like you really have to have the goods to back it up to pass the I sound like this thing that because I own this keyboard and blah, blah, blah,
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything. I don't think there's anything wrong with taking stuff from. Oh, in fact, all of music is, in a way, theft, really, isn't it?
100%. Oh my God! I'll tell you every artist that I ripped off in my albums. I just don't know how to rip artists off well, so I came up with my own style, which I think is something. Actually, you two actually said they were like, we weren't good enough to rip anybody off, so that's how we developed our own style. You two can get as many criticisms, but that is so true, and it hit me in the heart so hard. I'm like. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I still remember there was a time when I thought, oh, you know what, I'll write a dubstep track. And I started, and it just turned into something that I would write instead. But I really tried to make a dubstep track, and it's like, no, it just didn't. I don't want to do that. I'll do this instead. It's just, it just didn't work out.
This is more fun. This is less boring.
Yeah. I mean, like you say, I think it's the difference between, to me, it's the difference between, say, someone who, paints a picture and sells their art that way, and someone who creates corporate logos. It's like, that's what it is, isn't it? It's like you can argue both of these things are art, but really only one of them's really.
And it's like, and it bums me out because I feel like I'm super creative and blah 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 blah. But the thought of having to be paid to come up with something creative about something I could care less about. Yeah. I can't see myself, again, with ADHD, that's just how it works. I can't see myself giving a single toss about it. I can't, I tried do some of that stuff because I have friends who work in advertising and they're doing great and I'm happy for them. But I'm like, they said, oh, come up with ideas for this. I'm like, it's like a door. It's a door.
It's not the most inspiring thing in the world, is it?
It's not the most, but then for Caustic, I can come up with 40 dumb ideas a day, and because it's mine and it's just, and I don't have anybody saying no to me. So I'll get the, I'll be like, hey, does anybody think this is funny? Okay, I got 100 comments on it. Cool, making a shirt. Sometimes it's just, I know my audience, and for that, it's like, you just have to guess what people find interesting. And I make a lot more money in advertising.
Yeah, I've never got, well, you know full well, I've never managed to get into the whole kind of like, who's my audience and all that kind of stuff. I am just far too up my own arse for that shit.
I get it. it's I'm getting to the point where I'm just like, I'm tired. Too much going on. I'm excited. I want to share this with the world. I'll do my best, but we'll just see. I'm like, I think I know who this is going to connect with. Maybe it'll be other people too. But all right, if you've got ADHD, depression, anxiety, or drug problem, this second disc is going to be all for you. I realized today that I don't even really yell at all on disc 2.
Right.
The theme thing.
Right.
Like I do plenty on the first one. I think I sent you a bunch of that.
Yeah.
But you heard some of the other stuff too, which
I
sounds
did,
incredible now.
Yeah.
But it's I had fun doing it. So
well, that's the as we've said, that's the main thing. It's if you created it and you're happy with it, that's what matters. So, how many people can say that they make something and they go, I'm happy with that? How many people?
Yeah. And I probably won't want to listen to it again for 10 or 15
of course not.
years.
God, as if you would.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, don't even get me on that. It's like, oh, yeah. So people are like,
Sometimes I will, but then, sometimes I'll listen to an old album and I go, oh, that's really okay. I'm not too critical of it because I'm just like, I'm stuck. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on one second.
Oh. Do you think you're going to start doing other styles, do you think? Or do you think you're going to... or do you think you're happy doing what you're doing, do you think?
I would love to. I really enjoy... I've been doing... for my Patreon and Bandcamp, I started this new kind of dubby, hip-hoppy thing, just kind of like... I call it stim beats. Just they're kind of like, again, using really... slowly building, slowly bringing down with a nice little groove underneath stuff. And it's called the Il Subliminal, nod to Q-Tip and Tribe Called Quest. And so I've just been kind of playing with that, but it's every time I say I want to make this kind of album, it never happens.
Yep.
DaddyBear is like Klack is Sonic palette, but that's Eric. With my input or whatever, but he decides the sonic palette. We know what the references are. We know where that goes. With DaddyBear, it's definitely a more restricted palette as well. I'm going for a specific sound and a specific vibe, like just alien death disco, dark death disco. And but with Caustic, it's always been like a free for all, which is something I've always enjoyed because I don't want to have limits. I have so many limits, but I don't want to be unwilling to try a different vibe.
Yeah.
I just can't. I just don't know how many songs like that I'll have to get out of me. Because I wrote a bunch of like kind of dark, dubby, half-steppy stuff. And was like, oh, I'm just going to create a project with this. But then all of a sudden I find something else and I'm like, oh, I got a whole bunch of good ideas for, something that's like 170 BPM. So, it's like, I can't control. I'm like a drunk trying to pee in a urinal, I'm like, it's going to go where it's going to go. And we're going to have to see what we clean up and what we say, it's going to be a flipping mess. So, I like trying different styles though. Ones that interested me and So a lot of that kind of dark dubby stuff. I'm a fan of the Bug, all the Kevin Martin stuff. I'm so down with that kind of reggaeton, dance hall, dark evil shit. So
nice.
Yeah, so we'll see what I come up with. It's never. I don't think too far ahead. But that's why I'll have a song and I'll go. I have to wait for that song to come. I can't ask Eric, hey Eric, write a song that sounds like it's 1994, bar time at La Hacienda. Okay, cool. And he'll have something to me within like 45 minutes. I'm like, I gotta fix it a little bit. I'm like, but it sounds. I can even hear the background of everybody throwing up. It's like he's just insane with his ability, and I think you're very similar because you could probably throw something together like that too because music. But for me, it's always like the vibe and the feeling and the just going, okay, this noise, I like this how this sounds, this drum, put this put this delay on it. No, that sounds okay. That sounds kind of interesting. Okay, and then I just start building it. If I nail the bass line quick, then I'm just off to the races. Then I got my rhythm section down. I can do a bad melody over it.
Well, that's it. That's the thing, though, is that your rhythm section. That's your bones, isn't it? Yeah. And you can't have a person without bones, so you've got to have your rhythm section right.
Not a good one.
Not a good one.
Yeah. So it's yeah. It's this this is the backbone of techno and all that other and EBM and all that stuff too. Is just keep it super simple. And so I got to see where I'm going to go next. I piss myself off more than I piss off anybody else on the planet because I wish I could just do what I want to do right now and then be like, yes, okay, let's write this album because it'll be amazing. And then I do another song. I'm like, that's so boring. Yeah. I actually was asked to do a remix like one of my songs for somebody, for a pretty known, he is in a big band, but he had a side project that sounded just like that big band. And this was forever ago. Well, this is like 15 years ago. Okay, it was the guitarist for Rob Zombie.
Oh, okay, right.
Who I've never met. Regardless, whatever. But I tried to do it, and it didn't sound good. I just couldn't. It was boring because I did it already.
Yeah.
Repetition doesn't hold a very special place in my heart. Unless I'm repeating a groove over and over again for 10 minutes.
No, I get that. I mean, I think we've all got the ghost, at least one ghost project that we wish we could do. I keep, I think mine is a prog rock band, a prog rock band that's just me. And I would love to do that. But I just, no, I don't have the chops for it anymore. And I think I would just it's just writing that stuff is a lot of work. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's everything I do is in fits and spurts. I'll stay up way too late working on things, but then totally just go down to YouTube, viewing whole of videos from the 90s or something like that. But I don't know. The creative process is my favorite thing. Even before releasing it, sure, that just lets it go. That means you can let it go because you can be done and move on to something else. That's nice. But just being in my head and getting super excited because I came up with 12 notes that sound amazing together, and I'm the guy who can't sing very well, and I'm not much of a musician, but I get lucky. And, you kind of create your own luck more and more as you do things. And that's kind of what I've been to. But I also have really good friends who are sounding boards and like yourself. Well, I'll just be like, hey, what do you think? Okay, this doesn't, just tell me if it really sucks. I just need to know.
Well, the thing is,
we can pick it apart anytime you want. But right now, I just need to know, is this terrible? Is all taste leave my body? Or the little bit I had left?
Well, the thing is, though, is that, I mean, experience is its own teacher, really, for this kind of stuff. So you might go, "Oh, I don't know anything," but you do. You've been doing this for 20 years, and you've got the knowledge you've got there. It's just, you wouldn't use the official terminology for it. You just know it because you know it. And to be honest, if you think about it, really, I mean, that's all music theory was anyway when it was invented. Some guy went, those two work together. Right, let's write that down. You know.
It is true. Yeah, I mean, it's like now I just know if it sounds good or not, and I know when it sounds not as good.
Yeah.
Was that a Thelonious Monk? I forget who made the quote of like, you can't really pick wrong notes, just better ones. It's a jazz quote. I can't remember if it's the Thelonious Monk or Coltrane or whoever it is, but yeah, Maceo Park. Who cares? But yeah, it's true. It's like, I learned by failing.
Yeah,
that's how I work.
Yeah,
I mean, that's how we all work. But I just, I'm also just oversharing guy anyway, and always ready to dump on myself because I'm like, I got it right. Cool. I'm glad I got it right.
Well, that's the thing. You do get it right a lot, so there you go. And that's
for what people hear. Yeah, for the music that people get to hear. I'll go back.
Well, everyone's got
for a song.
Everyone's got absolute shite. I mean, I'm an idiot, and I sometimes put my absolute shite out anyway. It's one of the reasons why people are just like, "Kate's got a new thing out. Don't go anywhere near it."
I've never once been disappointed by anything I've heard from you. I've never been like, someone's just rolling on by there. Not too hard on this one, I guess. No, I've always been impressed with your stuff. You're an inspiration, my friend.
Oh, thanks.
So don't deny it. But it's just nice knowing so many talented people and even having any level of acceptance for my weird beat boops. It inspires confidence for me when I get any sort of respect from people who know what they're doing and don't get treated like it's nice, Mr. Training Wheels. How's it going? How about you learn how to play an instrument, Matt? I taught myself melodica in 10 minutes because I just followed my own tutorial of the beat boops that I put in for that.
I love that though. That's great.
I like to learn. I mean, I really want to learn bass. I owned a right-handed one, but I need a lefty because it just drove me crazy that I can't play something well normally, let alone backwards.
Oh yeah, of course, it's going to be a nightmare. Yeah, absolutely.
I found one on whatever Facebook Marketplace that was pretty close by, but I was like, I better make sure I can pay my bills and not just go and sound like a midlife crisis dad going, I'm about to start the band I've always wanted to, man. So look at Matt. He's a big boy learning how to play an instrument.
No, I mean, I know what you mean about the backwards thing. I mean, the thing for me was when I was at Mike Cadou's house, because he's a left-handed player, and it was just like picking up his stuff and going, I don't know what this is. Don't understand.
It's broken.
Yeah.
It's broken.
The strings are the wrong way round. No, they're the right. This is what's happening. I can't play this. Yeah.
Now you know how I feel with scissors.
With scissors.
Scissors are so uncomfortable if you're left-handed.
God, I don't bloody.
And they do sell like left-handed scissors, but it's like you have to special. I mean, Amazon or whatever. It's not hard to do, but I've just become so used to it that I'm just like, okay, not to put the uncomfortable thing on. I wish they could have evolved this and just made it good for everybody.
Yeah. Just generic. Oh, God. That's what I get for waking up too early. But yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, I have my right-handed privilege all the time. There you go. Right privilege. Yeah. Terrible.
Like we played drum pads in Klack, and somebody's like, how come you're hitting the wrong way with your, hitting I guess you're supposed to hit the snare with your left, and then keep the beat with your right.
Of course, right,
so I, of course, do it the other way because I have more control with my left hand.
Absolutely,
and I'm like, because I'm here, let me blow your mind. I'm not right-handed, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm lucky I can play a very basic beat and sing at the same time. Give me a break. Don't ask why I do things the way I do. Because I've never been trained, and I don't care that much. That's why.
Yeah. But I think that's great. I mean, it's like, other musicians who've never really had any training and just kind of hit things, really. I mean, there's Brian Eno.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you ask him something, technical about something, he'll go, yes, I did this, and this. But it worked.
And now you all worship me.
Yeah, that's it.
So, I mean, I think it's kind of like the same thing with like Aphex Twin, where he's just like, I just let that keep going. Yeah. And then it did that, and I recorded it, and I put it out. I'm like, there's a genius to what you do. I can appreciate that. I'm not the biggest. I don't dive that far. I'm pretty meat and potatoes with my musics, but at the same time, it's cool. But at the same time, I'm like, I can put random stuff on things too, and it can sound pretty cool. And if I do it long enough, I can release an album.
So yeah, so what kind of have you got any specific albums you've been listening to, like almost on repeat, just like, oh, this album's really good at the minute? It doesn't matter what genre it is, whatever. Yeah,
I saw Fishbone this week, so I had been listening. I didn't realize they had a new album out. It's their first one in like 17 or 18 years.
Wow.
So I was listening to that, and it was pretty cool. I was listening to, I think, what other stuff I was playing. I'd have to look it up, but I'm trying to think. Like, I've been listening to a lot of like ska and just kind of more positive stuff because it helps. I mean, but I've been listening to so much of my own stuff, and
I guess that's true. You're in the middle of
in the car. It's usually just nitpicking, so I can get notes back to the people that are mixing, to Brant and to Eric, and people mixing stuff for me. But otherwise, I usually have my kids in the car, and they don't want to hear my music, and neither does my wife. So it's that's my time. That's my time.
Yeah,
but, yeah. I haven't been listening to this ton. I started listening to the new Dropkick Murphys. Their new album came out on the 4th. I gave that a little bit, but I mean, I always fall back onto like Tricky, Massive Attack, like a lot more chill stuff. Oh, I've been listening to I forget who I was talking to. God. Adam Williams, I think it was, who asked if I knew about this compilation. It was a Big Beat compilation that came out in the UK in mid '90s, late. And he's like, "Have you heard this before?" And I was like, "No." And it's like, I think the Chemical Brothers put it out. Maybe I can't remember what it was called, but I was grabbing tracks off that, and Cutler Rock was on there, who I'd never heard of before. And I don't know if you're familiar, but I mean, you probably would be more so than me. But it was like a Big Beat DJ. Okay. But he was putting his own stuff out. But it's really cool. And I have such a soft spot for that vibe and that sound. So I found that, and then I found another like big beady artist that I hadn't found. Like I get periodically bored with DJing, and I was DJing for 5 years on Twitch, and I still do here and there, but it was just kind of like, I know all this music, so it's not interesting to me anymore. I played this song so many times, and I have a lot of choices, but I always kind of follow my patterns, and doing that bothers me. But I found a couple new big beat artists, and I'm like, ooh, I'm starting to get a little more interested in. I'm gonna start digging up some like secondary or tertiary artists that maybe were popular in the clubs but never got on Top of the Pops or something like that, And because to me that whole treasure trove of UK electronic from the '90s is so fun, and all the early rave stuff, and I'm a real dork for that, so I ignore most of the American stuff because I don't find it as interesting.
Well, it was huge in the UK, of course. It was huge.
Yeah, and it was like it was kind of a blip here, unless you were nerdy enough, But it with the Prodigy, that's what kind of set it off here. But I've been listening to Chemical Brothers before that, and blah 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 blah. But it was I mean, I've said it many times before that I like got all the samplers from like Select and Q on import. We had a good like a magazine store here, so I was spending like $15 on one of those things. The '90s, but I was like, oh, this is how I found Suede. This is how I found Tricky. This is how I found Chemical Brothers.
Right.
This is how I found X, Y, and Z. Some of them on the same compilations. Like this one compilation, gave me a soundtrack to the next 20 plus years of my life, 30 plus years of my life. I don't know, but yeah, in terms of things, I just a lot of old electronic, and that's that new big beat stuff, and then some punk here and there, pretty much.
Nice.
Or I just do the play music I like for my Apple Music, and then I just get to hear things I told you about. That's what it brings up.
Oh God, yeah. No, I've all my recommendations are terrible now. It's like because I've been doing that thing where I've been listening to entire discographies of bands.
That's been insane.
Yeah.
Are you just listening? Do you just like put the kid to bed?
Well, it's just it goes over a period of, it can be over a period of weeks, or it can be days, So like I'll just like listen to them from start to finish, and basically if I'm listening to music, that's what I'm listening to. So
that's what you're devoted to that.
So I've been doing that for quite a while now, and RIP my recommendations, as you can imagine. It's all based on like you've been listening to 1,000 minutes of like Snoop Dogg, so therefore this is what you're gonna listen to.
You should go from that to like start with Frank Zappa and just go.
Oh yeah, oh God, you'd be there forever, wouldn't you?
700 albums. And just jump into the Grateful Dead and kill yourself.
That would be it for the rest of my life now. That's it. Yeah.
That's again. I'm just going to listen to as many Fugazi live shows as I can, because literally I think they have them all for sale now or something like that.
My God.
They have recordings of like all of them, and I think you can just buy like zips of them off of a Discord site, but it's just like, holy cow, they've recorded like almost every one of the shows they've ever done. That's wild.
That is pretty damn nuts, it's got to be said. Yeah, well, I mean, I guess if they want to do that, it's all right. I mean, I wouldn't want to sell any of my. Well, I say I wouldn't want to sell any of my live shows, and there's one of my live shows on my Bandcamp, so I'll shut up.
I've got a couple up there that were ones that I either like sampled, or I was like early days drunk, chaotic, all sorts of what the heck's going on.
Yeah.
I got one when I haven't released it. I haven't released it yet, but it's got some songs that I didn't even know I ever did live on it, because I didn't do them frequently. But it was we were in Seattle in a coffee shop window, and it was bonkers. It was Cat, me, and some other bands that I don't even remember who they were. I just remember that he set the show up for us, but I found a recording of that, which is pretty crazy, because that was. Yeah.
Actually, talking of that, that's a good point, actually, because you and me, we've both been sober for a long time now. Yeah, so did you feel like it changed your creativity at the start of it, or did you not, do you think?
No, I mean, I in the year or two after I got sober, I put out like so much music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny that
I kind of just was able to refocus, and it was coming out of me faster, probably also because I wasn't so messed up and going, let's scrap that and start that idea over again.
Yeah.
But I knew I was creative without it. And I never drank to be creative, because I did improv for 10 every years I was doing it for, and I only did that drunk one time, and that was because I was at a party and I lost track of time, and that was also the worst show I ever did in my life, and it was so hard to focus, and it was so just blah. But it was I almost quit doing live shows because I was feeling just bad that we weren't getting a big crowd. And it was honestly less about me than I'm feeling like, the promoter's losing money if they flew me out there or something like that. So the live shows were a little tough to get the handle back on those. But then when I did, I wasn't falling off stage. I remembered sort of more lyrics. I was a little less embarrassing. My balls never came out at shows anymore. So, the little things. My balls.
I was going to say, maybe don't describe them like that. Yeah.
No, I said what I said, my friend.
You said what you said. You're sticking with it. That's it.
That's my story.
Oh, man. But yeah.
I mean, it helped me a lot. Yeah. So, and then I wasn't as lazy as I was when I was drinking, because I'd just be like, that's good enough.
Yeah.
But so I tried a lot. I mean, that's when I got signed with Metropolis right after that, because I was writing an album I'm like, this is going to be, I want to write a clubby album. I kind of was really going for that sound, and that's where I was bringing in other people to help me out, and because I knew my production 15 years ago was not nearly what it is now, and so I kind of said I want to step this up, and I got to be in Metropolis for a couple albums, and then we just kind of amicably parted ways, and that was just fine, and I had nothing but a good experience there. I still friends with everybody who runs it pretty much. So it's, but I mean, how about yourself?
Pretty much the same experience, really. It's like all of a sudden I wrote, I think I got sober, and I think it was like 2 years later I had 6 albums out in a year. And it's just like, it's like, cause it's just like,
so free time.
It's like
that free time's incredible.
Yeah. You're not hungover, so you're actually going, all right, I'll do something. Or you're not drunk, so you can't go, I can't see my keyboard. It's just like, it makes a huge difference, I think, to your creativity, or at least the amount of creativity. But yeah, I don't think it ever. As you say, I don't think booze was ever important to it. I think,
no.
If anything, it did damage. Yeah, absolutely.
I agree. I like hearing stories sometimes of like things that I had totally forgotten that happened during shows, and I kind of enjoyed that unhinged chaos thing. But I do the unhinged chaos thing much better now, and don't hurt anybody and or hurt myself. And I don't know. It's it's nice to be a positive force. It's nice to show. Like I never been self-righteous or preachy about it, or tried not to be. And I thought that was always a better way to show people that, you don't turn into a douchebag or a self-righteous jerk and tell everybody on earth they have to stop. I'm like, no, it's the thing I say every time is it's not my fault. It's not your fault I sucked at it,
Yeah. That's exactly it. Yeah.
It's like, it's not your fault. And, as long as you're not hurting yourself or others, I'm not going to worry about you. But if you need help, you know where to find me. And that's what I said for a decade and a half now. And and some people I've been able to help, and I'm very grateful that I had that opportunity. And some people just make your decisions. I mean, everything they say is true. You can't force someone to stop. It doesn't work that way.
Well, no, because they have to want to. Yeah, and the thing is, as well, is that, like you say, it's. It's more about. My brain went again. Oh my God, what's going on with me today?
It's the weekend.
It's the weekend. It's Sunday. There we go. But I mean, the sobriety to me, it's like one of the reasons why I'm sober is because I can't drink. It's like you said, it's like it's not my fault. That's where I was going. It's not my fault. I sucked at it. It's like exactly that. It's like I still consider myself an alcoholic because I know if I go out and have a beer, that'll turn into 20. I can't touch it. I cannot go anywhere near it because it will go wrong. And that's not anybody else's fault. That's my fault, and that's my thing to deal with. Nobody else has to deal with that. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
And I've been very fortunate that very few people ever tried to push drinking on me. And if it was ever, I mean, I won't pretend the first couple of the first festival I went to after I got sober was Kinetic. And the last time I was there, I had been so drunk that I didn't know what song we were on. That's where my balls came out. And it was incredibly embarrassing. And the entire thing was filmed. So it was the worst show I've ever had in my life. And it was just embarrassing. To this day, I wish it hadn't happened. But I also had been drinking for like 14 hours. So, put me on last. We get what we get. Wow, that's not very good. So when I went back, I mean, I had another guy who was sober, and from another artist who's been still sober. He's been 20 plus years now, I think. But I mean, I was looking for him, and when he showed up, I beelined over there. I'm like, dude, I need somebody to be cool with me right now. And he was like, it's all good, man. Let's hang. It's okay. And that's all I kind of needed. I just needed to know there was like one person I could go to who knew what was going on.
Yeah.
And everybody knew what was going on. So I was very open about it, but like just knew how I was feeling.
Yeah.
And I've tried to help a lot of folks, and I wrote some things on the Tumblr account I had forever ago, just on like what to do when you go to a festival. Like, make sure you can get out of there yourself. Don't if you gotta do an Irish goodbye, do an Irish goodbye. Just sneak on out. Don't worry about it. Everybody's gonna be okay. But all the little things that helped me navigate those first couple times. And now it's just I just bounce around because of my ADHD. I just can't talk to anybody too long anyway. I usually go behind the merch booth and just sell stuff because I can talk to people, but I don't have to talk to them for too long. So if it gets weird for whatever reason, or they're really drunk, I don't have to like deal with it too long. But again,
absolutely,
not judging. I just don't know. I'm not terribly chatty when I get the same conference thing I did a billion times,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's the whole it's the same theme, isn't it? Don't like the repetition. Sorry, bye. Yeah. It's understandable.
And I'll see you later, and you'll tell me again, and that's just fine. It's okay. As long as you don't try and do a shot with me, it's just fine.
Yeah. I found that really interesting when you're there with drunk friends, when you're sober. It's kind of weird because it's like the first time it happens, you're like, "What's happening with you?" And then you realise, "Oh God, you're absolutely out your face." It's like,
it's hard sometimes. I mean, most of the time I don't care because most of my friends are my friends. I'm hanging with somebody that I love, and I know how they get, and it's okay. But it's after a while, it's just like if you're that, and most likely also most of my friends at this age are not drinking like they did when we were all 20.
Yeah.
But you still get to deal with folks sometimes. But I love everybody. It's not. It's never like a get this drunk away from me. You're compromised. No, I've got it down. I'm good. I don't have really many urges to drink, but that doesn't mean that my brain's not. Yeah, like you said, I'm still there. I'm still an alcoholic. I still got to be careful if I ever get a surgery because I've never gotten addicted to pills, but I don't put anything past me. And it's just I just have my genetic disposition is not in my favor. Yeah. But
I know what you mean. It's very easy to get addicted to anything, isn't it? That's why we try and get addicted to writing stuff in music and things like that. Because at least that's positive. Dopamine. Yeah.
I need dopamine, not dope.
That's it.
But that saved my butt. Like I got sober because I needed to focus my frustration and everything else and just try and do something useful with my time because I wasn't for many years and it was getting worse and worse. So it was best choice I've ever made. So
good shit. Yep, agree, 100%. So okay, well I think I'll give you one last question and then we'll call it a night. Because obviously you've done a load of side projects with people, right? Lots of. Is there anyone you've ever thought, I wish I'd worked with them? Just
in our scene.
Well, not necessarily in our scene. Just anyone,
Just anyone. I'm always saying that because Goddessman and I have never done an actual project together, which is still amazing to me, given how long we've been friends. But and I'd still love to do something with him. We probably will sometime. Maybe we'll start working on it after he punches me in the balls because of my Kickstarter. $1,000. Somebody paid me $1,000 to get punched square in the nuts from Eric Gottesman.
What? Okay.
Two people shipped in $500. It's been a joke going for so long on my Kickstarters, but it was always me punching him. Then I'm like, all right, I'm going to flip the switch because I never asked Eric if I could do that because I'm, as they say, a terrible friend. But I also assumed nobody would ever pay for it.
Well, quite,
this time they did, so I'm going to get on stage and we're going to film it, and I'm going to get slammed in the nuts.
Oh my God.
And I will do so with a smile until it actually happens.
I was going to say the smile's not going to last for a long time.
That smile will disappear quickly as all the pain radiates off.
Well, the thing is as well, I mean, sorry, I don't want to make this even worse than it is, but of course we're a lot older now, so it's going to take a while to go away.
I'm not doing anything with them. I told you they're small, so it's okay. But for other people, I'd like to do it. If I had my choices and I had the sort of confidence that would inspire that, I would love to work with Tricky. I would love to do something with Mike Patton, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Meat Beat, Jack Danger. I would die to work with him, and I want to try and get a remix from him. And I'm like, how much money? Maybe I'm going to get hit in the balls to pay somebody $1,000 for the remix. I have no idea how much he costs, but I don't know him at all. But that's been like a bucket list dream of mine to do anything with him, or even just have him listen to my stuff and not
hate it. Yeah. No, I get you. Yeah.
He'll also probably go, hey, I was ripping off all my good ideas. I'm like, well, I've been doing it a long time. So it's almost like they're my ideas now.
That's it.
But yeah, I mean, those are some of them, you know, Techno Animal, if Broderick and him got back together and started to actually, well, they do Zonal now, but yeah, I mean, there's so many. Oh, I mean, Bomb Squad, Prince Paul, like some of the hip hop, Q-Tip, RZA. Like a lot of those, I mean, J Dilla, rest his soul, that would have been really cool. But yeah, there's so many cool producers and artists that I would just love to do things with. I mean, I'm do more Beauty Queen Autopsy with Erica on Woman. I wanted to get that done sometime in the future because we haven't done anything in it over a decade, but that was amazing because she's like you and Eric, like she's just incredibly creative. And did me the honor of letting me kind of like bash out a bunch of songs, and we got a nice response. That was nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's like a lot of people I would love to work with that just do really cool stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll get a chance someday. I don't know. I fight the imposter syndrome hard. But by the same token, I have this weirdness thing, like, you know, when you're like, you have a self-hatred thing, but at the same time you're like, but I'm still a lot cooler and a lot better than most people. You know, that's the my weird dichotomy where I'm like, you know, I'm not good enough to be on that level, but it's a hell of a lot more interesting than all that crap over there, you know. But you know, it's not all for me, so why should it be?
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how about you? Who are people that you'd like to work with? I bet you have like a tripped out group of people because you know music way better than I do. Like when you go through those catalogs, I'm like, oh geez, I am so unfamiliar with so many bands, and
so was I. Yeah.
And I have such a like a small pond of things I go back to just because, you know, it's nostalgic or whatever. Or Underworld, of course. I'd like to.
Yeah, of course, Underworld. Yeah.
Underworld, Left Field. That would be very Left Field from like 1995, though.
Yeah,
like
not after
all the original, both guys.
Yeah.
God,
who would I like to work? I mean, and that's the real thing for me, really, is because it's like every time I think of someone, I just think, but what would I even do?
How would I contribute?
Yeah, exactly. How could I contribute to that? It's like, you know, it's like I keep thinking, like when, you know, I mentioned the prog rock thing, and I thought, well, the first thing I'd do is I'd get the players of that, and then I think of all these players in my mind, and then I think of just me on bass going, it's just like, yeah, that's not going to work, is it?
I'll be over here.
Yeah.
I'll just get sandwiches. Can I just get sandwiches for everybody?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
I'll do a coffee run.
I guess the thing is, for me, it would probably be... it's difficult to know, because the thing is, I'm such a bloody nutcase with what I do. It's just like, right, what I'm going to do? Oh, I've done this. Actually, I'm going to rip all that out, throw it away, turn it into this, turn it into that, and... You know, I just don't see how that works with another person in the mix. That's the problem I have. I mean, I'd like to do... stuff with a vocalist at some point, like traditional kind of song structure stuff, because my vocals, man, you just do not want to hear them. They are beyond awful. So I mean, there's my mate Matt, who's really good at kind of like metal shouty stuff, but the problem with Matt is not you, Matt, obviously, this is a different Matt. He is incredibly busy, and getting him to actually come and do things is just not possible. I mean, I had a whole black metal album written, and you know, he did vocals on one of the tracks, but they weren't quite finished. And like 5 years later, I just went, I'm just going to release it instrumental. Sod it.
Yeah,
because it's you know,
it's hard, and it's especially was he writing the lyrics too?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the part to me that takes the time. I could have sang so many or yelled so many other things over my songs, but I made this like pact with myself to really just be honest and try and convey. It doesn't have to be 100% truthful, but just convey, you know, the vibe and the feeling, and the words need to say something, not just like, that's a cool turn of phrase, so I'll make that the title of the song and say it a lot in the song because it's catchy, you know. So yeah, the lyrics can be the hard part. I mean, I still want to write lyrics and do vocals, but I'm really like leaning into the more instrumental stuff now, that I can actually, you know, write something that's not terrible, and I'm trying things that are different for me and layering samples and doing all kinds of, you know, just making it interesting. So
yeah, that's fair.
See what I can pull off.
Cool. All right then. Well, you know, I'll let you go. Have your evening, and thanks for joining me.
My pleasure. Thanks for asking me, man. This was fun.
No worries. Yeah, it was.
Turned out okay.
Yeah, no, well, so do I. Okay, man. All right, well, I'm just going to press stop on the thing now. So there we go.